This is a winter update for my subscribers. Last winter I made the decision that I was going to try to keep most of my bees in the sunshine during the winter. If you want to get your bees out to do cleansing flights, they have to have the sunshine. When I started beekeeping 9 years ago, those trees weren't really all that tall. Every year they've gained a foot, and they've gotten so tall that I don't get any sunshine over there on the south side of my house. So I got a lot of colonies here, and I monitor the size of the cluster with this LED flashlight by opening up the shim that I put in the center of the hive. And this is where I put the domino cane sugar, and I can see the cluster. If it's down here, I can see it down there. If it's up there, I can see it up there. And then what I'm doing is I'm also putting a screen in, making sure that this shims holes in the back so when the bees come out and do cleansing flights, they don't end up above the screen. If I see bees there and I see bees down here underneath there, I know the size of the cluster. This one and this one, I thought they were small, and I brought them up there to the house and I checked them, and they're too big to be indoors, so I brought them back out. So basically what I'm saying is, during the winter, I'm monitor the size of my clusters. I make sure that they get cleansing flights. Like a month ago, all these colonies here were indoors in the dark because it was really cold. And I thought, okay, this is it. This is a polar vortex winter. It's going to be like this all winter, like all these weather forecasters on YouTube were saying, and they were wrong. Here it is, January 10th, 2023. It's near 40 degrees. And today was supposed to be cloudy. My local weather forecasters forecasted cloudy weather. Wrong again, okay? As a beekeeper, you don't know what the weather's going to be until a few minutes, 5 minutes before that weather happens, okay? And again, here's colonies here. With a screen, I make sure I know what size the cluster is. I pause. All right, here's another batch of colonies. These are facing southeast, so they don't get as much sunshine as the previous colonies I just showed you, but they still do very well here. And again, all of these have screens. And they're doing cleansing flights, which is good. And in the back, that's the northwest. I try to make sure they don't get too much wind. Don't want wind blowing through your hives. Okay, pause again. All right, this is along my garage. These hives are facing south. January 10th. The sun started rising December 21st to 22nd, but there's still no sunshine here. So you don't see too many bees. The sun brings them out. I had said I was going to put an insulated wall here, but I ended up doing other construction projects, and that money has been diverted to other construction projects. And I'm just monitoring the size of the clusters with all my colonies, and if they get small, I bring them in. And these right here represent colonies that didn't have either. They were combined or they didn't have enough honey, and I wasn't able to downsize the hive, so I just gave them a medium of honey. Especially this one right here was a colony that was combined with another colony. I'll have to look up my notes, but anyway, most of the bees were up in one medium, and I went ahead and I put it on top of the. There, we got bees up above the screen, which I don't like having that happen because they're going to end up dying up there. But anyway, that's my third group. I'm an electrical contractor. I've been an electrician for 25 years. And I wanted to get into bees 10 years ago, but I run out of room for stuff. And I wanted to put a basement here between my garage and my house, and I need to move my service. But last fall I had another job where I needed an electrical panel, an outdoor electrical panel, and I was not able to find one for that job, and some other contractor, larger contractor, had one, and they got the job. So here I am 4 months later, called my local supplier, and I still don't have an electrical panel for what I want to do. I want to put a panel here. I want to get this wire out of here. I want to get all this dirt out. I want to put a concrete wall around and underneath this wall over to here and attach it to my house, so I have a basement for storage of hives. And then I'm going to have a floor, and I'm going to have a workshop and more storage. But because for some reason the country's effed up, I don't know why the last 3 years, and well, COVID, they blame COVID, but other than that, the last 3 years of my electrical business have been really bad. I haven't made very much money. Couldn't find materials to do jobs. If you can't find a material to do a job, you can't do the job, you can't make the money. But my bee business has been doing better. My bees are doing great right now. Last winter, spring never came. That was difficult. I lost a third of my colonies. But hopefully this winter, spring will come like normal. But anyway, what I'm saying is, no matter what you do, it seems like there's always some kind of an issue in this country, United States of America. America's not that great. This is my 10 by 20 shed. I've had this for 15 years. When I started beekeeping, I had all kinds of room. I had a lot of deeps in here and a lot of mediums. I moved them out because it has gotten cold. December, it got cold for a while, and I brought a bunch of colonies in here thinking, okay, this is it. They're going to be inside for a cold spell. But then they got warm and I brought them out. So I'm not going to move my deeps and mediums back in. And I'm going to show you where they are right now. But look at that wall. Look at all the stuff I have. That's why I need more room. I'm trying to build onto my garage, but I'm having issues trying to find electrical panel. Again, this is going to be a future basement, because that's all concrete wall there. And I was going to put a stairway here, and I was going to bring deeps and mediums down for storage, and it was going to be moth proof. And then up above, like 3 feet here, wherever the level of the house is, was going to be a room. I was going to have my wood workshop and also for storage during the winter. And I had built this last fall. This is going to be an additional kitchen. There's going to be a door here to go out to that room. It's going to have a platform here. There's going to be a stove or refrigerator or whatever. Not sure which way. But I ended up turning this into winter storage for hives. I have a heater here, but I'm not using it. And then over here, see what happens is, to move all that stuff out of the shed, I bring it into my garage. And my garage is facing the west. And because it's mud all the way out to the road, I bring in mud. And when it dries up and the wind blows, it blows dust all over the place. So this right here was going to be part of my storage area. I got to put a door here. But look at all the stuff that I have. This is all the stuff right here was in my shed. It's just so much stuff that I have. In order to be a beekeeper and make money, you have to have a lot of colonies. Currently have 112 colonies. And you need room for stuff. You need to store it when you're not using it. You lose colonies constantly. So what are you going to do with that hive? You going to leave it outside in the weather? No. You're going to clean the stuff out of it. You're going to bring it in. Keep it dry. It'll last longer. So that's where I'm at right now. And let me pause again. Okay, I'm now in my bee room. And when you bring a lot of colonies in here, a lot of hives with bees in it, everybody says hives, but a hive doesn't mean it has bees in it. I say colonies. I count the number of colonies I have. I don't count the number of hives. I have 177 hives, but that doesn't mean I have 177 colonies. I currently have 112 colonies. And if you bring too many in here, like last winter was a disaster. I tried bringing in a lot of colonies, and it got too warm in here. This is my thermostat. See right now, I have it set for below 50, but it's reading 60 just with these colonies here in the window. And these right here last fall were my small colonies that I brought in. And if I end up with a small colony that needs a place, and I find a colony that doesn't have a queen, I take and I replace it. And during the winter, I noticed that bees do cleansing flights. Bees don't fly out very far during the winter when they do the cleansing flights. So it's not an issue. During the winter, you can move your colonies around. She's a naughty girl. This is the one that has epilepsy. She hasn't had a seizure in 2.5 weeks, but this is the issue I have with dogs. And I told my wife a year ago, I don't have time for a dog. The dogs, I put rags in here, plug up the holes. She will come along and pull it out. And then I've got bees flying around. So what I started doing now is I keep the rags on the other side where she can't reach, and I put the shim in the back where I can put in the sugar. But my dogs also do this. They're chewing up my hive bottom boards, which is driving me nuts. So anyway, what I'm getting at is during the winter, you can move hives around here and there. Like these colonies here, I thought these were small, but 2 of them I just moved out today. They weren't small. I'm going through these, I'm checking them, I'm doing hive inspections. And this right here is the one next. And let me pause this. Okay. Back in November, we had a cold spell in November. And this is why it's important to keep notes, and it's why it's important to number your hives so you know how the colonies are doing. Anyway, 56 and 6. I brought them into the garage room, that room I showed you, because they were small colonies. And I thought maybe the cold would kill them, and I didn't have a chance to do inspection. I did 56 earlier today, and this is my notes from 56. I didn't video it, but 56 I found mostly all drone. And if you follow my videos, you will know last year 56 was one of my largest colonies, but they failed to create a new queen, and they ended up with probably a drone layer. She ran out of fertile eggs. And here's a shim here that's cracked, so I'm going to need to replace that shim with one that doesn't crack. That's why I need more room for a workshop. I need to set stuff aside that needs to be fixed and fix it. So here again, I'm doing an indoor winter hive inspection. I haven't found anybody on YouTube that does that. And I also thought maybe I would keep the screen on these inner covers. Maybe that would keep some of the bees enclosed. But anyway, here we are. Indoors in Michigan, January 10th. Doing an indoor hive inspection. And when I have a majority of the bees leave the cluster, that's telling me they don't have a good queen. Something is not right with the colony. They don't always roar during the winter like they do during the summer when they don't have a queen. But if things aren't normal in a hive with your colony, they're not going to stay on the frames like normal. So this one right here is going to be a pain in the ass. Yeah, I do get stung a lot. I'm not wearing a veil. I'm not wearing anything for protection. I set the screens there, and see, there's a bee stinging me. I have been stung everywhere on my body. Believe me, everywhere. As you know, when you got to take a leak, you go take a leak, and before you know it, you're getting stung on your pecker because you got bees all over your clothes. See, I got stung on my wrist, but it doesn't bother me. I'm lucky. And I'm keeping note of how much honey they have. Not a lot. This one, that's got a lot of honey. Indoor winter hive inspection. If there's anybody in the world doing this, put your videos on YouTube. I'd like to know that I'm not the only one that's smart enough to do this. See how small this colony is? I'm not even sure they have a decent queen. I'm doing this a little quicker than normal. But there's brood there. I have found other colonies that still have brood on January 10th. Using salicylic acid, they say to treat beginning of winter when there's no more brood in the colony. I have colonies that keep doing brood constantly. I don't know why, but how are you supposed to get rid of all the varroa mites if your queen is still doing brood? So let me pause this to see if I can find a queen. If I find a queen, I'll let you know. If I don't, I'll let you know. Okay. And also when I look for the queen, if I see an old queen with tattered wings, I will go ahead and I will kill her. And I will combine this, because here's the queen right here. And also, these bees here are dead. They have brood, but these bees died. I don't, why the colony let them get cold and die, I don't know. But this here is a colony that I had noticed in November was small, and I missed putting them back inside recently because I thought they were still large enough for the temperature. See that, queen? Am I the only person up north that does this? Here it is, January 10th. I'm checking for a queen in the colony, and I'm videoing her passing pheromones to the workers in the colony. And my biggest issue, I keep saying this to everybody in all my videos, or most all my videos, it's the toxic chemicals that crop farmers put into the environment. All spring, summer, and fall, basically when the crop farmers are out there. During the winter, it's not so bad, but it's in my hive. It's in the wax. It's in the pollen. There's some pollen right here. It's in the honey. Okay? That's why my bees are having a hard time. I can get rid of the varroa mites. I use this acetic acid, and that's the other issue. I want to say something here real quick.